From a young age, I was everyone's favorite. Neighbors would stop my parents on the street, eager to shower me with compliments. "He's such a bright boy," they'd exclaim, their faces beaming with admiration. Teachers, too, sang my praises, marveling at my quick wit and insatiable curiosity. Life was a symphony of approval, each note fueling my youthful ego. I was the golden boy, destined for greatness, or so everyone thought. The constant praise, while well-intentioned, created a pressure I didn't understand. I felt like a porcelain doll, expected to remain flawless and unblemished. This constant need to please fueled an insatiable hunger for validation, a hunger that would later have devastating consequences. Little did I know that life had other plans that would test my spirit and redefine my very being. Amidst the suffocating pressure, I found solace in her. She was everything I wasn't. Confident, carefree, and full of life. Her laughter was contagious, her smile disarming. With her, I could be myself, shedding the weight of expectations and embracing the simple joys of being young and in love. We were inseparable, two souls navigating the choppy waters of adolescence, hand in hand. Our days were filled with stolen kisses, whispered secrets, and dreams for the future. We talked endlessly, sharing our hopes, our fears, our vulnerabilities. For the first time in my life, I felt truly seen, understood. She was my rock, my confidant, the keeper of my heart. I thought our love could conquer anything. I was wrong. Life, as it tends to do, threw a curveball. My brother, my own flesh and blood, betrayed me in the most unimaginable way. The details are a blur, a painful memory I'd rather not relive. All I remember is the gut-wrenching realization that my family, the very foundation of my being, was crumbling. The world I knew, the world where I was the golden boy, shattered into a million pieces. The betrayal cut deep, severing the bonds of trust and leaving me reeling in pain and confusion. How could someone I loved so dearly inflict such unimaginable hurt? The questions haunted me, gnawing at my insides, amplifying the feelings of worthlessness that had begun to take root. I was lost, adrift in a sea of despair, desperate for an escape, for anything to numb the pain. It started innocently enough, a joint passed around at a party, a way to fit in, to forget, to escape the crushing weight of my emotions. The initial high was intoxicating, a temporary reprieve from the storm raging within. Soon, one joint became two, then three, a slippery slope that led me down a dark and dangerous path. The drugs became my crutch, my solace, the only thing that seemed to understand the turmoil within. I told myself I could stop anytime, that I was in control. But the lie I whispered to myself grew louder, more insistent until it became my reality. I was trapped, ensnared in addiction's web, my life spiraling further and further out of control. Section 5. Isolation and despair. The grip tightens. Addiction is a solitary disease. It isolates you from the ones you love, building walls of shame and secrecy. I pushed away my friends, my family, everyone who tried to help. Their concern felt like judgment, their love a burden I was too ashamed to bear. I was alone, drowning in a sea of self-pity and despair. The guilt and shame were unbearable, a heavy cloak I wore everywhere I went. I hated myself for what I had become, for the pain I was inflicting on the people I loved most. But the drugs had a powerful hold, whispering promises of escape, of oblivion. I was trapped in a vicious cycle of craving and consumption, my life slowly slipping away. Section 6. A family's agony. The ripple effect of addiction. My addiction didn't just affect me, it cast a long shadow over my entire family. My parents, once so full of life, aged before my eyes, their faces etched with worry and despair. The light had gone out of their eyes, replaced by a deep sadness that mirrored my own. I had become their worst nightmare, their golden boy tarnished. Lost in a haze of addiction, I saw the pain in their eyes, felt the weight of their disappointment, yet I couldn't stop. I was powerless against the pull of the drugs, a slave to the cravings that consumed my every thought. The guilt was a heavy weight, crushing me from the inside out. I had become a burden, a source of endless heartache for the people who loved me most. The realization was almost more than I could bear. Section 7. Yearning for yesterday, hospital walls and broken dreams. The hospital walls were stark white, a stark contrast to the darkness that had enveloped my life. The constant beeping of machines, the hushed whispers of nurses, served as a constant reminder of how far I had fallen. I was a prisoner in my own body, my mind a battlefield where the desire for recovery clashed with the relentless pull of addiction. Lying there, hooked up to machines, I was overwhelmed by a profound sense of regret. If only I could turn back time, make different choices, spare myself and my family this agonizing pain. But the past was a cruel tormentor, a constant reminder of my mistakes, of the life I had squandered. I was drowning in a sea of what-ifs, desperate for a lifeline, for a glimmer of hope. Section 8. A glimmer of hope. Finding faith in the darkness. In the depths of my despair, a glimmer of hope emerged. It came in the form of faith, a belief in something greater than myself, something that offered solace and forgiveness. I turned to Jesus Christ, drawn to his message of love, redemption, and second chances. It wasn't a sudden transformation, but a gradual awakening, a slow climb out of the abyss. Prayer became my refuge, a way to silence the noise in my head and connect with something bigger than myself. I clung to the hope that even I, a broken and flawed individual, could find redemption, could rebuild my life from the ashes of addiction. Faith became my anchor in the storm, my guiding light on the long and arduous journey to recovery. Section 9. From Praise to Redemption, Embracing Growth and Sharing Our Stories. My journey from praise to redemption has been long and arduous, marked by pain, regret, and ultimately, hope. I learned that true strength lies not in perfection, but in our ability to rise from our falls, to learn from our mistakes, and to use our experiences to help others. The praise I received as a child, while well-intentioned, created a pressure that ultimately contributed to my downfall. It's a reminder that we need to be careful not to place unrealistic expectations on young people, to allow them the space to make mistakes and to learn from them. To the kids out there struggling with addiction or any other challenge, know that you are not alone. Reach out for help, for support. There is no shame in asking for guidance, in leaning on others during difficult times. Remember that every mistake, every stumble, is an opportunity for growth, a chance to learn and to become a stronger version of yourself. Share your story, for in sharing we find healing, connection, and the strength to overcome life's challenges.